And we begin with breaking news at 11, a CBS 46 Bulldog exclusive.
You just saw the Bulldog's report.
Yeah, did I?
Yeah, all of us, mouths fell to the floor.
We do have armed guards that are outside the street here. We broke this story around the 11 o'clock hour, and sources close to the investigation and here in town tell me that this suspect does have a prior rap sheet. And we obtained years of Kasim Reed's lavish spending records. Now the feds want it all.
The CBS 46 Bulldog holding the powerful accountable.
You're running for office. You're a declared candidate. We have a right to come and try to talk to you. Do you not want to answer any questions about your record?
And I appreciate it. Thank you.
You did not answer our questions.
This is a national story. What would you say to...
Promised you 3, we gave you 6.
A staffer physically removed the mayor. She refused to answer reporter questions, except ours. We confronted her before the meeting. Did you say it? Did you not say it?
Calling his office all day.
Because the Bulldog showed up
and the
today.
Bulldog showing up today. It takes all of that.
As soon as the Bulldog started asking questions, he was out of a job.
Hi, President Nolans.
Hi, Jonathan from CBS 46. Can we talk to you for a minute? Is there a reason you won't respond to any of our requests for comment? Do you not think that the president of a state university should be standing here on camera answering questions about this?
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question.
He could not avoid the Bulldog.
Not many people can.
Can we talk to you for a second?
No.
Anything you want to say to R. Kelly? No. Jonathan with CBS 46.
The Bulldog investigates the business.
Hi there. Can I talk to you for a minute? Excuse me. Can I talk to you for a minute?
Working to get results.
Can I come in here? Sorry.
No.
Why are you still on the property? Hi, it's Jonathan, the CBS 46 Bulldog. I'm here doing a story about the broken elevators.
You have to make sure this has nothing to do with my employment. My employment. This has to make sure.
Excuse me.
Nothing. No, I'm
This has
moving.
nothing to do with you. You're blocking me from talking to an elected official. Ma'am, did you betray the public trust? Did he get any money?
Got whatever he worked for.
What does that mean?
I go sit down.
3 people are dead. And you won't answer a single question, sir? No questions at all. Sir, the taxpayers pay your salary. The taxpayers pay your salary, sir.
Breaking news in the R. Kelly case. The CBS 46 Bulldog is uncovering new details.
Jonathan Carlson has been breaking this news on Twitter.
Let's begin with the newest information. There are actually 2 open investigations.
You're chasing the story, and it seems everybody else is chasing you now. Jonathan Carlson and his photographer, they captured exclusive video. Jonathan Carlson made international headlines.
R. Kelly's entourage clearly not happy we were pushing for answers, but we didn't stop. For weeks, the CBS 46 Bulldog has been breaking new details in the R. Kelly case. The R&B singer accused of abusing and housing young women against their will, something Kelly and his attorneys have denied. Prosecutors in Atlanta, his former hometown, and now Chicago are probing the allegations as the singer has been out of sight and has eluded the media for months. That was until we arrived. On a snowy Sunday afternoon, we headed to the singer's West Side recording studio, where a judge just last week ordered the lights be turned off nightly at 9 p.m. The space was cited for allegedly being used as a living and party space. We spotted what sources told us was R. Kelly's Jeep. We spotted people going inside. And as the night went on, more people arrived and under more secrecy. Hi, ma'am. Can I ask who you're with? Ma'am? They all avoided us and our questions. We noted the time of activity, and as the curfew passed, those inside stayed inside until the 11 o'clock hour when we saw movement. Someone pulled the black Jeep around front in an apparent move to block our view. Handlers, who refused to speak or identify themselves, shielded our view, as did umbrellas, when a man who appeared to be Mr. Kelly was rushed into the vehicle. Mr. Kelly? Can we talk to you for a minute? Seconds before this unfolded, a man in a black Audi SUV, a vehicle seen dropping off and picking up visitors to the studio all night, was seen entering our news vehicle and jumping back into his vehicle as I gave chase. Hey, sir. Excuse me, sir. He sped off, his license plate obscured. Our vehicle's keys were missing, but nothing else. Others inside began to scatter in a chaotic scene. Hi, who are you, ma'am? The last person to leave the building shortly before midnight was this man. We had questions for him, too. I'm Jonathan from CBS. They're supposed to be clearing out at 9 o'clock. What was going on there tonight?
Oh, no.
I just saw you come out of there. What was going on? Who are you?
Just a friend.
Just a friend? Now, our incident outside the studio is making a lot of news, but the bigger question here is why was that entourage at the studio past that 9 o'clock curfew?
This was really something to see. A local police chief who has refused for days to answer basic questions, simple questions about a serious incident involving one of his officers and the deaths of 3 innocent people, refusing to stop and talk to the CBS 46 Bulldog.
What happened was a stunning and outrageous display of ignoring accountability. State investigators say the South Fulton police chief is the one to answer certain questions on protocol following the deaths of 3 people, but he seemingly ignored every one of ours. South Fulton's new police chief, Keith Meadows, appeared in a church sanctuary at what was billed as a community public safety forum. But there was one public safety issue he didn't want to talk about.
I have a question as well regarding the Sunday crash.
Sunday, investigators say one of his officers was chasing a stolen vehicle and slammed into a van, killing 3 innocent people and sending 3 others to the hospital. It raises serious questions about if chase protocol was followed and how fast the officer was going. But the department has refused to answer any questions for nearly a week.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're talking about the Old National Initiative today. I appreciate the question, but right now we're just dealing with the Old National Initiative today.
All on topic questions.
We're not going to answer any questions about the South Fulton crash.
No.
Sorry, Chief, but public officials, paid by the people, don't dictate what questions are asked and answered. And you certainly don't dictate what the Bulldog can ask.
Hey, Chief. John, 46, how are you?
I ain't got time right now, guys.
Can we just talk to you about the chase real quick? We just have a couple of questions.
I approached Chief Meadows outside the sanctuary in a polite, hushed tone. He ignored me and looked at his phone.
Can we just stop you just for a quick second? We haven't heard from you. We're not trying to be confrontational. We just need a couple of questions answered. What's the status of the officer involved? Was the chase justified? These are valid questions. You have 3 people that are dead. Nobody's heard from the police chief. Can you tell us what the status of the officer is? Was the chase justified? The state says you can answer those questions. They're putting the questions on you. Do we know how fast the officer was going? Chief, with all due respect, this looks kind of arrogant. 3 people are dead. You're refusing to talk to us to answer any basic questions that the state has said you should be answering. Why can't you just stop and answer some questions? 3 people are dead. And you won't answer a single question, sir? No questions at all. Sir, the taxpayers pay your salary. The taxpayers pay your salary, sir. 3 people are dead and the taxpayers pay your salary, and you don't even have time to stop and answer a question? This comes after we questioned the city manager and mayor earlier in the week. They had no solid answers and put this back in the chief's corner.
And when Chief Investigator Jonathan Carlson showed up at a recent school board meeting, some district leaders once again showed a disdain for transparency.
As the sun set on a recent evening at Beaufort City Schools, the hurt and pain was still rising inside.
I think we're all finding our way through this really difficult circumstance.
A school board meeting last Monday, which at first seemed to move on from the scandal of the summer, quickly turned back to trust.
I'm going to turn around because I'm not talking to them.
Parents and taxpayers not looking to the board for leadership this night, but to each other.
In order to understand anybody, you have to listen.
Beaufort has been trying to heal in the weeks since longtime Superintendent Guy Hamby resigned.
My child is an 8-year-old third grader who now says, Mommy, I don't want to go to school because I don't trust my principal. I don't trust my teachers.
Accused of making racial slurs and threatening to kill blacks on a recorded conversation. He has yet to comment or deny it's his voice. We visited his home for comment this month. We were ignored by those inside. The school board has ignored our questions before and following the superintendent's resignation. Some parents say them too. This one wanting to know if Mr. Hamby got a payout on departure.
So out of all these people up here, nobody can tell the citizens here what you're doing with our money.
The longtime board president, Philip Beard, clearly frustrated with the questions, got out of his seat and tossed a document at the district mother.
And next time you can place it, don't throw nothing. I'm not your dog.
We too wanted answers, including to that same question. We'd been asking it for weeks. I approached Mr. Beard before the meeting.
How are you?
Yes, sir.
Jonathan with CBS 46.
Yeah?
Wanted to talk to you for just a quick second. Do you have 2 minutes?
No, I got nothing to say to you.
Okay. Why is that?
Let's go on.
Okay. That's been the response from the school board from the start. I return moments later with a more direct approach. Mr. Beard, I have to ask you a couple of questions. I tried to be nice. Can I talk to you for a minute? We've been asking for weeks now to get some information about the former superintendent's severance package.
There is none.
Okay. Did he get any money?
Got whatever he worked for.
What does that mean?
Now go sit down, please.
Well, we just want to know if the taxpayers are still having to pay any money out to this man. Can you just answer that question?
Not one nickel. It's in tonight's.
What are we going to find out tonight?
It's in here tonight.
A few minutes later, another board member ripped a page out of a book and handed it to me. It showed Superintendent Hamby was paid a little under 20 grand and owed salary and bonuses, but they claim nothing more. I then politely tried to talk to the interim superintendent. Yes, do you have a quick second before you go? Okay. It'll just take 2 minutes. We just wanted to ask you a few questions.
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a reason why, or?
Because I choose not to. Thank you.
Okay. She too had no interest in speaking directly to our viewers. In fact, no one from the district has stood in front of a TV camera and addressed pointed questions about what they knew about that recording and when, nor how they plan to heal. It wasn't until nearly 2 hours into the meeting that one board member had the courage to say what this room needed to hear.
There's no excuses for what happened. We're not happy about it. We were as hurt and disgusted as y'all were.
Beaufort City Schools has taken other steps, including appointing a diversity coordinator. But until the entire scope of leadership there can agree to be held accountable and transparent, questions and distrust will continue to linger.